right, let's talk about citizen participation within a state, something that's crucially important when it comes to maintaining legitimacy. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is legitimacy is largely dependent upon citizen involvement within the state. And this will kind of make a little bit more sense as we get going. And one way to look at this is the idea of the ladder of citizen participation. Now, this is adapted from Sherry Arnstein's 1969 work, and it simply states that there are 8 levels of participation within an organization, right? You can look at this in terms of a government. You can look at this within any organization at all. Look at it in a classroom, in a school project, and what students are doing. First level, you're going to have non-participation. So the first 2 levels. First and foremost is manipulation, where you're going to be saying something along the lines of, hey, here's what you're going to do. You don't really know why you're doing it. You're just doing it. So this is like an elementary teacher decides that they're going to put on a show about climate change, right? They're going to give a performance, or the kids are going to wear little shirts that say, like, stop global warming, and they're going to have a picture of the earth on fire, and they're going to go up and they're going to sing a couple songs about, like, we love the earth, the earth is great, yay, save earth, right? Something like that. They don't really know what they're doing because it hasn't been explained. That would be considered manipulation. The second level, which is a little bit higher than manipulation, but still non-participation, is the idea of therapy. Now, this is simply, hey, I'm sorry you feel that way, but it's the way it is, so sorry. You can feel bad, but it's not changing. Again, you're not participating because you don't really have the ability to participate. You're at least somewhat being heard, which makes you feel a little bit better, but ultimately nothing is really happening. The next level up is degrees of tokenism. So this is things like informing. So you're going to tell the people that you are in charge of why decisions are being made. So here's what we know. Here's why we decided to do what we did, but this is what's happening. So again, you feel a little bit better than just, I'm sorry you feel that way. You're actually being explained to why something is happening. But again, you don't really have much of an impact in changing that. You might feel a little better because you understand maybe the rationale behind a decision, but ultimately that decision is not being changed, and there's not really anything you can do about it. The second one is consultation. This is simply asking someone's opinion. So you might give the information and say, hey, what do you think about what's going on? Again, individuals are going to be more engaged when this is the case because they feel like they have some say. Whether or not they're actually using that opinion is completely different, but the fact that people feel like they're being heard makes them have a little bit more of a buy-in, gives you some more legitimacy. And lastly is the idea of placation, which is simply appeasement. So, hey, I know this is upsetting, so here's what I'm going to do instead, right? I appreciate your opinion in the future. Here's what I'll do, and to make up for it, like let's do this now, right? Let's have pizza today, right? We'll bring in pizza. I'll buy it for the staff. This is what we'll do. Sorry about this in the future. Here's what I'll do. Let's ask your opinions. Again, they're trying to find a way of getting you to buy in right through here, which again makes you feel more involved. And when you feel more involved, there's more legitimacy. The last couple levels are degrees of citizen power. So this first and foremost is partnership. We are going to work on this and we're going to do it together, right? I'm still in charge. That's how it's going to go, but we're going to all be involved in this process. We're going to do everything together. Delegated powers, where you send individuals and say, hey, I'm out. You tell me what we should do. Then I'll go ahead and implement these. So you decide these simple issues, how we're going to move and get them going forward. Again, a lot more power for the individuals. And lastly is the idea of citizen control, where you decide everything. Now, it is important to understand that certain situations at certain times, certain things are going to be more efficient than others. In a time of crisis, giving everyone in the state the ability to decide everything, probably not the most efficient way of doing things because things don't get decided very quickly. Again, the old saying, too many cooks spoil the broth. That kind of situation could be happening right there. If you imagine a kindergarten classroom where you let the students decide everything one day and see how many of them in that year being able to read on grade level, probably going to be a little lower than if there was a teacher kind of influencing as well. But again, at certain times, this can be very beneficial, getting buy-in. When you have buy-in, you end up increasing your legitimacy. Comments or questions, do let me know. Otherwise, I can see you later. Good luck.